Good morning. I hope you guys had a good 3-day weekend and a wonderful Easter. I wanted to give you guys the agenda for this week. So we're looking at the week of April 13th. And the first thing I want to do is go over just the assignments that you have due tonight at midnight. So last week you were reading Things Fall Apart Part 2, but you were also completing a Zinc FSA reading practice test on Zinc, obviously, for a short story or an essay actually by a man named George Orwell called Shooting an Elephant. And that is one of the things that's due tonight at midnight. If you haven't done it yet, make sure you log on and do that. I have instructions for you guys on the EDSB newsfeed, but you might need to scroll down a little bit to find it because I posted it last week. I think there were like 7 questions for Shooting an Elephant, so make sure that you've read it, make sure that you've answered those questions and done your best on that so that when I put the grade in there, it will help you out. That is actually an essay that I read every year when we're reading Things Fall Apart because it presents the perspective of imperialism through the eyes of a colonizer. George Orwell was actually a member of the British Imperial Police during this time in India when they were being colonized. So it was not exactly the same situation like Africa, what was happening in Things Fall Apart, but it was like really similar with the imperialism and the Westerners coming in. So George Orwell's through the perspective of the colonizer versus Chinua Achebe, which is obviously through the perspective of the colonized. So make sure that you've done that tonight by midnight and then kind of keep that essay in the back of your mind as we are preparing for discussion of part 2 and Things Fall Apart. The other thing that's due by midnight tonight for some of you is the Nearpod makeup assignment that I gave you a 1-week extension on. So when we had our live Zoom meeting to discuss chapters 8 through 12 of Things Fall Apart, some people were unable to meet with us live for whatever reason. And so I had given you a makeup assignment on Nearpod to answer some questions and do some activities for chapters 8 through 12. And I decided to give you guys all a 1-week extension on that because I had some people who did not go on and do that. And the Zoom activity, the Socratic seminar, was 50 points. And then the Nearpod was also like making up those 50 points. So if you didn't do either of those activities for whatever reason, then that would really hurt you. Now I know that some of you were still like trying to get access to the internet, trying to get access to technology and just kind of getting through the transition process to e-learning. So that was why I gave you guys a 1-week extension. So if at this point you have still not completed any of the activities for chapters 8 through 12, whether it was the Zoom live meeting that we did or the Nearpod makeup, you have until midnight tonight. So make sure that you go on and do that. There is going to be another Zoom meeting to discuss part 2 of Things Fall Apart, and that is going to be on Friday, April 24th. So on that day, if you're able to join us for the meeting, and I don't have the time yet, but when I post that, if you're able to join us for the meeting, then you just need to have your book and you need to have your 3 discussion questions and be ready to talk. Anyone that can't join us live is going to do another makeup Nearpod assignment, which I'll post. That will be due, if you do the makeup assignment, that will be due by midnight on Monday, April 27th. And there will be a part 2 test on EDSB, just like there was one for chapters 8 through 12, just like a comprehension test to make sure that you guys are like reading and all of that. Let me see, part 2. I think that's pretty much it. It's going to be kind of an easy peasy week in the sense that you're just reading part 2 of Things Fall Apart. If you have questions for me or need any help, please let me know as always. And I just want to remind you that Monday, April 20th is a non-student day. Yay! So if you need, a little break, that would be a really good time to take advantage of that as well. All right. I hope you guys are doing really well and I will talk to you soon. Bye.